So in your work safety area, to protect other people and yourself and your coworkers, we use these portable screens a lot of the time to mitigate the risk of somebody getting flashed or receiving a dose of infrared or ultraviolet radiation from arc welding. So these screens are great for helping, you put these up around where you're welding and keeps other people from getting a dose of radiation or having some damage done to their eyes. Sometimes we might have to use blankets, fireproof blankets or fire resistant blankets to keep welding damage from catching something on fire, depending on what we got going on. Probably want to keep first aid equipment nearby. Welding, you're turning a metal into a liquid, which is very hot, and there's all kinds of things that could happen, and so probably best to keep first aid equipment nearby. So some of the, non welding related factors that can cause accidents in a welding shop or poor housekeeping, taking risks, doing things we probably shouldn't be doing. I'll just do it this one time. That's the one time that it gets you. Really tight and congested workspaces can be an issue, and using damaged welding equipment. If your welding equipment, you got frayed wires or something, get it fixed. Go find your maintenance people or your supervisor and let them know, hey, this equipment is not safe to work with, and we need to get it fixed. Another one is heat. So the intense heat of welding and sparks can cause burns. Generally with welding, it's not if you're going to get burnt, but when. I know that's probably not something that we should say, but you're going to catch something. It's just part of the nature of the beast, part of the trade. So you want to minimize it. So keep it to a bare minimum. So you could get burnt with contact with hot slag, metal chips, sparks, hot electrodes. These can cause burns and eye injuries. There's a million different ways where, hot slag or metal chips or sparks can, get in your shoes or get in your shirt or on your hands or in your eyes. So we just want to be careful with that. Excessive exposure to heat. Now, this is what a lot of times with welding, you're going to want to wear layers of clothing. So the layers of clothing can soak up any sparks or solid materials or whatever that are coming off of the weld. Well, in doing that, you might be living in a hot climate and you're wearing, 3 layers of clothing extra. Well, you can end up with, heat stroke or heat stress. So you need to be aware of those kinds of things and drink a lot of water. But the symptoms: fatigue, dizziness, loss of appetite, nausea, abdominal pain, irritability. So to help keep yourself from, having these issues or having heat stress or heat stroke, you want to have good ventilation, take rest breaks, drink a lot of water, a lot of cool water. And this is going to help keep workers and people a lot safer in regard to heat stress or heat stroke. Some of the long-term health effects that come with welding and materials joining: increased risk of lung cancer, possibly cancer of the larynx and the urinary tract, because you're breathing. A lot of the older guys were breathing in a lot of that smoke, and they didn't know about a lot of this. If you go back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they didn't have, a lot of the knowledge that we have in regard to some of these long-term health effects that can come with welding and material joining. And it gets back to some of the things that are in those materials that could end up being in the smoke and fumes. Cadmium, nickel, beryllium, chromium, and arsenic. None of those sound like anything that a person should be breathing or ingesting into their system. So, we need to be cognizant of the long-term health effects that, can come with breathing or being around welding fumes. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, you can contact me or the other instructor, Ray, through the Udemy website. You got any questions, we'd be happy to hear from you.